What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched.
Just kind of ringside. I tell you how I'm going to work today and what we've got coming up to this evening. But essentially what we'll do is we'll give the kids some generalized comments that are left out in the ring, give them a ribbon based on their performance. But we will keep 1, 2, 3, or 4, kind of just depends on what we got per class. But those individuals that grab a pin in this initial heat and the heats throughout the day, they'll come back this evening for an overall showmanship runoff for what I understand per division. And then we'll do an overall within those division winners. So with that being said, 2 young ladies got pinned right off the bat. I just thought in terms of control, in showmanship, obviously from age to age to age and experience level becomes a little bit different. But what I'm looking for in terms of whether it's a first-year kid that's out here now or as we get into the advanced kids is we love intensity. So eye contact, burn a hole through my soul, look deep into me, control of the pig, cleanliness of the pig. I think if you capture all 3 of those items, you'll have a good day under myself as judge. But thought the 2 young ladies, just in terms of control, in terms of eye contact, did a phenomenal job. So we'll rework them later this evening. I think generalized comments to the kids, and I want to make this statement early on in the day and maybe just give some thoughts about what we do at the house. But truthfully, showmanship starts from day 1. The first day we get pigs at the house, we start working them. My wife just got back and daughter just got back from Texas. We brought a pig home. The pig's already been to the wash rack. The pig's already been brushed on. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is don't wait, right? Don't wait until 30 days before the fair to start working with these. And then when you're working with them, we have the mentality at the house is that every time they come out of their pen, we're treating it like they are in a show ring. So we're not just opening the gate and letting them run around and do their little brodies out in the field or out in the pens. We want to have control, and I think if you start that at an early age, when they're little bitty guys, it's easier to manipulate the direction that you want them to go. I thought the kids out here do a good job just in terms of having the desire, 1, to be here. You can tell they have effort levels, but I think truthfully, it just boils down to having the capability to control that barrier, that gilt, in terms of where you certainly want to take it. With that being said, we'll give all these kids that are left out here, I think they did a solid job in terms of what they're trying to do. So we'll give the 2 gals in the holding pins the purples. The remainder of the kids out here will get some reds. But awesome job to all you guys. Let's make some noise as these kids head back to the pins. Well, I made this comment last night in the Market Hog division. When you know, and just do what you like. And the young lady that comes out first, I know she was out here for just a little tiny bit, but you guys are ringside. If you caught what she did, just in terms of her intense value, drove that barrow directly at me, pivoted to the side, and then exited with that rear view. She essentially accomplished all 3 views in a matter of 5 seconds. And apologize, maybe she wanted to drive a little longer this morning, but we definitely rework her later on this evening. Young gal that also catches a pin. Hey, that pig's loud and barky, but she still had the capability to continue to drive that barrow. Definitely was locked in terms of eye contact. Thought she deserved a shot to bring that barrow back out this evening. Honestly, there's a couple that are super close, and we'll give those 2 individuals blues, and the remainder of them we'll get the reds. But thought the young lady with the big Duroc gilt definitely was close in terms of making it. So I think she's deserving in terms of that blue ribbon status. Just wish that gilt had the capability to roll in a consistent manner, to stop and go, but still at the same time had the ability to control that gilt in terms of where she wanted to position it. The other young man gave me some glimpses, and I think fit job and skin and hair health definitely commends him of a blue ribbon honor. The young man driving the Poland appearing barrow did a good job in terms of capturing my attention momentarily, but then you lose him off to the side. The remainder of the kids, hey, you guys are working out here hard. Pigs just aren't wanting to cooperate with you, but still efforts are there. Let's give all those kids an enormous round of applause as they head on back.
Coming back from Class 2, this is
memorable moment for me just in terms of intensity. The first gal that gets pinned, man, I just love her, the value of her facial expressions in terms of desire, and that's kind of what we teach the kids. And honestly, in terms of showmanship, it's a different viewpoint from every individual that steps in the ring and holds the mic. But again, I will tell you, the more intense you come in, the more memorable you're going to be in my mind. Thought she did a killer job in those regards. A young lady that also grabs a pin, phenomenal in terms of skin and hair, and then at the same time has the capability to drive that guilt collectively in terms of where I'm standing. I think there's another individual that was extremely close and I think needs to be rewarded with the blue ribbon status. But the young man driving the red belted barrow here, just in terms of presentation, was extremely close to grabbing that pin and coming back. Just thought that barrow is too stop and go. And I think maybe it's almost the body position of what he's doing. And what I mean by that is as you work up closer to that animal's shoulder, they can see you in their peripheral vision. They kind of stop and want to back up. So if you just work out past the hip and behind the tail, I think that may allow that barrow to just rock and roll in terms of emotion and be that much more seamless to allow that man to grab my attention that much more collectively. The remainder of the kids, good job, you guys. The skin and hair looks good. I think, again, not to be a broken record and be extremely redundant, but it truly does boil down to the simple fact is they got to have that pig where they need to be in terms of where I'm representing myself. So in front of me, 10, 15 feet away. This is a large ring. It's okay to work outside the line. Just don't get behind me. Don't get too close or far away. Awesome set of kids. Let's give them a big, big round of applause. We'll bring the young man back this evening again. Just phenomenal in terms of presentation of that barrow. Skin and hair, hide health is second to none. And then with that being said, has the look that we're desired to see just in terms of an intense value. Complete and utter control of that barrow every time he steps into the ring. I thought there was a couple kids that need to get the blue ribbon. Just we're close, but maybe just don't have that much more control. But the young gal here in the bright pink shirt, I love her intensity. If that gilt cooperated that much more for her, she would have grabbed the pin. A little bit quicker in terms of her step, but there's glimpses and there's moments where she's locked in, she's intense, and I appreciate that, and just needed to give her a shout out. The other guy I think needs to get a blue ribbon is the young man here in the brown. I love the presentation of the pig. Definitely just utter control from time to time. Kind of circulated behind me momentarily. Many of the kids will give him the red, but I thought, again, just collectively, very competitive, awesome young man to grab that purple ribbon. Let's give these individuals an enormous round of applause. Good job, my man. Good work. Well, two young men will come back this evening, and I'm going to make this comment because it's the first time it's happened, but essentially showmanship is you got to stand out, right? You got to be memorable, and whomever's holding the mic's mind. I thought the young man that we pinned first truthfully grabbed my attention before he even steps foot into the ring. You guys lock in when you're in the holding pins because, again, it just shows focus. It shows intensity. And coupled with that, he performed when he got out here into the show ring venue. Awesome job in terms of presentation. phenomenal work in terms of overall control. A young man that we grabbed the second pin to, again, another individual that's got some desire in terms of his body position and his facial expressions. You know, I talked to him a little bit, and it's a challenge, right? You get these pigs, you feed on them hard for the market show. They get some loose stools or whatnot, but just try to recognize that. Throw some shavings, brush them off, try to keep them as clean as possible. The remainder of the kids, again, just work on some control. And one of the things we do at the house is, you know, if you have somebody to stand out there and act as the judge, if nobody's available, put a bucket in an open area. That bucket is the judge. Drive the pig at the bucket, away from the bucket, side to side. But again, just always have the mindset when these pigs come out of the pen at the house is they are in the show ring, and I think that will help tremendously in terms of developing the capability to control the barrows and the gilts. But awesome job. Let's give all those kids a nice big round of applause. Good job, buddy. Great work.
Coming back from Class 5.
The presentation of the gilts in the barrow, and then also just their simple fact that they have control. It's a large ring, right? And I do want to say one thing, and I don't know if anybody caught it, but the young man that comes out first, you know, he does his little spiel right in the beginning, gives me his views, and then circulates in behind me and continues to show. I actually appreciate that. I think that's kind of show ring etiquette per se, because essentially what we're trying to do is give the individual that's coming out of the gate the spotlight. So as you guys come out of that holding pen, give me your initial run, your views, and then feel free to continue to show behind me. I'll come back and find you once we get all the pigs that come out of the holding pens. But hats off to that young man, just in terms of having that etiquette as we get into a show ring standpoint. There's a couple kids I think are close, and we'll give them the blue ribbon and just kind of talk about some little things that I saw. But the young man here with the belted barrel, I think he's close in terms of making it. And I'll tell you what hinders him from getting that purple status. Just his body position. He gets too far up on that barrel in terms of where he's standing. That barrel wants to stop and go. I think if you work back by his hip and behind his tail and then just reach further with your hand, it's going to allow that continuous movement. But you're super close. You got the basics down. Just want to work on that one thing. Young lady with the shaggy haired barrel again. Another one that had moments and glimpses in terms of understanding that she wanted to take it to the next level, but just unfortunately to stop and go. We got to get these individuals to collectively move. I know some are fast-paced, some are slow-paced, but we got to get them to rock and roll the entirety of the time. Remainder of the kids, awesome job in terms of being here, having the desire. It simply boils down to one thing. It's control of your animal and relative to where I'm positioned. Awesome, awesome individuals to go 1-2. We'll bring the next class in. Let's give these kids a big, big round of applause. Good job, buddy. Great work, good work. Good job today.
Class 1 timed up in Liamato. We'll see time
Good job, buddy.
tonight at 5 o'clock. Just a reminder, all purple winners.
Good job, you guys.
Winners are coming back tonight for the finals.
Good job, buddy. We're going to do it. Yep, see you tonight. We'll throw two back in. We'll bring him back this evening. And again, just the consistency of what I'm saying, I'm trying to rack my mind in terms of how to say it just in a different fashion so it's not completely the exact same terminology. But those two kids, again, just the overall initial impression in terms of what they did coming out of the gate. Drove directly at me, gave you a couple different views, came in behind and continued to show. And again, I say that because we want to give all those individuals their fair shot and not get jumbled up in the crowd as they come out of the holding pens, because truthfully, the first impression is the most memorable. So hats off to those two individuals for getting that job done. Probably the deepest and most competitive class in terms of what we've seen to this point. I'm actually going to give out three of the blues. I thought there was three individuals that were close and had moments and glimpses of making it to that next level. But the young lady here with the all-black gilt, I think she needs to get that blue ribbon. She's close. That gilt kind of changes her pace on her. She'll go slow and methodic, and then all of a sudden, quick stepping. And the young lady, she grasps her and gets control. But again, sometimes it's the pig, but we got to dictate as the individual on the stick in terms of what they want that pace to be. But I thought she was close. The young lady here with the belted gilt, again, the challenge to some of these is even if they move slow, we got to try and make them look their absolute best. And what I mean by that in this particular situation is we always want to try to get that head tipped up just a little bit. I know we got our eyes on the judge and showmanship, maybe more than we have in the market aspect. But again, showmanship is showing the positives of what your animal offers. That gilt kind of drops her head from time to time and just throws off her look and her pace. She wanted to get in behind me momentarily as well, but I thought she was close. The other blue we'll give the young man here with the big belted barrel. Again, he's got glimpses, he's got seconds of what I'm looking for, but we just got to keep those individuals in front of me so I can see. The remainder of the kids, you guys did a solid job in terms of fit jobs, in terms of control. Just got to work on taking those two things to the next level. Awesome, awesome class, most competitive we've seen up to this point. Give them all a big, big round of applause. All that two individuals grabbed my attention. A young lady with that Duroc barrow did a tremendous job just in terms of her overall facial expressions, her intensity, loved that. And then to boot, had the capability to control that Duroc. A young man with the orangish colored shirt, thought did a really good job. It was just kind of consistent. You know, maybe doesn't stand out in terms of eye contact and in terms of an intense value, but kept catching my attention in terms of where he was positioned relative to myself with that barrow project. So thought he deserved a shot to come back later this evening. You know, I think the remainder of the kids, again, it's just their capability to maneuver that barrow, that gilt where they want them to be, and understanding, you know, they get tired, they want to run the fence, but any subtle movement you kind of see and you sense when those individual pigs want to change their pace or change their direction, it's our job as exhibitors to end that, to mute that. We got to get them to where we want them to go. With that being said, I thought a solid group, but again, just body position, make sure that we're always leaving the pig between the judge and yourself, so don't impede the view. But I thought a solid group of kids. The two will come back, we'll get the purples, we'll give the remainders reds. Awesome, awesome job, you guys. Let's give them a nice big round of applause. You have any waters back there? Thank you so much. Hey, great job, buddy. Good work.
Coming back from Class 3, Lincoln Bab and Caden Steele.
Good job, buddy. Great work. See you later. Good job, my man. Good work, girl. We'll see you tonight. Good job.
Entering the show ring, Class 4, Caden Beard, Oliver Bryant, Layla Deeds, Cashton Haynes, Lucas Hunter, Riker Miller, Syra Turcott, and Jude Zender.
Skin and hair and hide health doesn't just start at county fair, right? That's something that you need to take into consideration from day one. And not to say we do it the right way. There's many ways to do it. But we brush those pigs daily, probably twice, 2-3 times a day. We take them to the wash rack every single day. So 2 days a week we use shampoo and conditioner. The other 5 days a week we use just conditioner. So Wednesdays and Sundays are shampoo conditioner day. The remainders of the day are just conditioner. And I get it. There's always things that come up, but I'm telling you, if you want to make it and take it to the next level, it requires that much more effort. And not saying these pigs out here are stale in terms of their skin and hair, but again, we're trying to separate ourselves from the remainder of the kids. And that's one logical way to do it in my mind, is what does my pig physically look like? And then obviously you got to perform as a showman, and she did do just that. So hats off to that young lady. I thought there was 2 kids that were close in terms of getting the call back. A young man here will get the blue ribbon. You know, just stop and go, and was behind me, was too far away. I will say this is a rather large show ring, and as I'm kind of talking and looking, is we don't need to clump all the pigs up together. We call it work the outside line. You can get outside of the gummed up portion of the show ring and still get the attention of the judge. And I thought he did that momentarily, and to come back in, get behind me. But you know, again, it does very good in terms of some basic components. Just tweak a little bit in terms of where you have that pig, and I think you're that much closer to getting the call back. The other blue ribbon will be the young man here with the black gilt. And again, personal preference, right? We always want the kids to look as natural as possible. I know sometimes we get low. Just relax your body and kind of slow your step down, because that gilt's not fast in terms of her pace. I don't think you have to be as aggressive in terms of your step and your body position. If you come up and become more natural and just slow down with the whip, I think it's going to allow that gilt to continue herself in a mode of passion. But again, awesome kids. You guys, we got one awesome showman to come back, and the remainder of the kids did an awesome job as well too. Let's give them all a huge round of applause. They work on back. Well, I think another deep class in terms of what we got remaining out here, but just some quick comments to the kids that got pinned. I don't know if you noticed the young lady that got pinned first, but holy moly, that young lady has got it figured out. Just love everything about her posture, her facial expressions, the fit job that she's got done on the gilt. And then with that being said, has complete and utter control. Every step that gilt makes, she's in charge. She's dictating where that individual show pig project needs to go. Hats off to her. I thought the young man, too, that got grabbed a pin did a very good job. There was a moment where we kind of lost him off into the corner, but hey, he recollected himself, drove that barrow up close to me, gave me all the views I was looking for, and at the same time, still has an intense value. Quite honestly, there's three of the kids that I think had some glimpses and some small moments of greatness out here and need to be rewarded, and just give a shout out and give him a blue ribbon. But the young man here with the tricolored gilt, very smooth and kind of methodical in terms of what he's doing, but it was stop and go and kind of came across the far side of the panel. If we just bring a little bit more intensity, I think you've got the basics and the understandings to take it to the next level. I thought he needed to deserve a shout out. The young lady with the belted barrow too, and the cool pattern pinkish shirt. I don't know how to explain that pattern color, but does a good job. I think mimics the young man that we just talked about. Very calm and very collective in terms of what she's doing. Again, for my opinion, just want to amplify that intense value, whether it's facial expressions or getting that barrel and finding those open holes. But very calm, very fluid in terms of what she's doing. Just want to tick up that intense value. And then the young lady with the red belted barrel, I know he's kind of quit on her right now, but at the initial stage, she had some moments in terms of understanding what she needed to do and where she needed to be. And sometimes it happens. They just quit, they get tired on you. But an awesome class, a deep class, two killer individuals that'll come back tonight. Let's give them all a big, big round of applause. numbers, and I guess that maybe dictates that we're just going to hold one back and bring her back this evening. But, I just have conversations with kids, and again, I don't know everything, but if there's an individual that's close, and I think maybe one little change could make them more memorable in my mind, I share my advice and take it or don't take it, but just kind of talk to her. She's so low and she's so intense with the whip in terms of speed and motion. Just ask her, hey, chill out, relax, stand up a little more upright, be a little bit softer in terms of the whip. I think she does that, and that Barrow, his mindset changes well too, becomes more controlled, and with that being said, well, we'll bring her back. I thought another individual that was close in terms of what she did, and I think needs to get a shout out in the blue ribbon is the young gal here with the all white or the Yorkshire appearing Barrow. It's challenging on the white ones because we raise a lot of purebred landrays at the house, and the skin and the hair component, it's rough, right? You can't really hide anything when the blanket's all white. He's got some sunburn and some scratches, and hey, I get it, it happens. In a showmanship venue, it's definitely something that we talk about. And that's not why she doesn't get kept, but I think it would help her to take it to the next level. Gets just too far, too stop, too go. I thought she was very, very collective in terms of what she was trying to get accomplished. Maybe it just didn't come to fruition the entirety of the time. Remainder of the kids, again, just work on control, but you've got the desire to be out here, you got the effort. Let's give these remainders and the young lady that got pinned a big, big round of applause. Well, definitely you can tell the experience level has come to the show ring because quite honestly, there's kids that are still out here that, in the younger side of things, but would have caught a pin pretty quick. And I thought there's three young gals that do a really, really good job. And let me say this too, because I think we've got 6 or 7 more of these age classes. Hey, I'm positioning myself kind of far outside of the exit or the holding pin. And what the reason I'm doing that is I want you guys, if capable, give me all those views in an immediate 5 seconds, right? Drive at me, pivot to the side, go away, and then get in behind me and start showing. A lot of you guys just kind of come walk and keep continuing past behind me, but take that moment. It is truly just you. My attention is just on you as you come out of that holding pin. So just some suggestions as we work on into the remaining heats. But I thought those three young ladies, just in terms of the value of intensity, the capability to control, they were the three individuals that gave me all the views. And what I mean by that is throughout their time in the show ring, they profiled their barrow. They drove that barrow at me and then they went away from me. Right? There's more than just profile. But I thought they did a very good job in those components. We'll rework them tonight. There's a couple individuals that I think need to get a shout out and are extremely, extremely close. Young man here with the belted barrel, man, I kept waiting and I kept waiting. What I was waiting for is he was the only one in front of me. But if you caught what he was doing, it was literally just side to side, side to side, side to side. Take those moments because you have control. Your skin and hair is phenomenal. If you break off that pattern of just going back and forth, come at me, go away from me, give me a profile, right? Obviously, again, it's dictated by how the spacing is. This ring is so big with few pigs, which I appreciate and I like because what that does is gives a lot of open spaces. And I kept waiting to get all those views and I was going to throw you in one of the pins, but hats off to you, buddy. You're super, super close. Young gal with the blue sparkly shirt too. I thought another individual that needed to get a shout out. The pace of her barrow dictates what she's trying to do. He's fast, he's slow, kind of throws off the balance. And again, send me some things that we can work on as we get those pigs home at a small or a young age. I thought she did a really good job in terms of eye contact and intense value. Take nothing away from the remaining kids. I thought they did a good job. Just got to work on the control component. Awesome, awesome trio up top. Let's give those kids a big, big round of applause. just in terms of what they offer in control and eye contact and just their overall demeanor. I thought they took it to the next level relative to the remainder of the kids out here. So congratulations to those three. You know, there's a young lady that's super close in terms of making it, needs to get the blue, would be the young lady with the belted barrow there. You know, just a too slow pace and kind of stop and go and watch her try to get that barrow to turn into her knee and give that inside turn and kind of stopped on her and just quit. You know, the inside turn thing, we fight it with the kids at the house is those are just to be done when you absolutely have to do it because it's challenging to keep a barrow or gilt moving as you try to pivot them inside your leg. And unfortunately, that's what happened to him today. Kind of wanted to completely stop and quit on her. But just, again, so big of an arena, I don't really know if you have to utilize those inside turns. Now, this evening, I might try to catch you and trick you. I'm just kind of planting myself, quite honestly, right now. Let the kids settle in. Give me all those views. This evening, we'll ramp up the movement and myself. But thought she did a really good job and was super close in terms of making it to the next level. The other young lady there that needs to get a blue is that the thin belted gilt there. Thought she does, again, good in terms of eye contact. It's just too stop and go in terms of what she's trying to do on a motion pattern. The remainder of the kids, you guys got to try hard. Keep up the good work. Work on control. Work on eye contact, presentation. But hats off to all these seniors. Let's give them a big round of applause as they exit on back. We'll pin the young lady with the all black gilt. Again, why is she there and the others aren't? It's a few things. One, the eye contact component. Secondly, that pig never missed a beat in terms of taking steps in a continuous fashion. And I think the most impactful thing and what separates her from everybody else is she was the only one that I caught giving all three views. Awesome job in terms of profile. Pivot around, gave me a rear view, came back at me for a chest shot. So hats off to her. We'll rework her later this evening. You know, there's two that are extremely close, and we got to give them a shout out, but they'll get the blue ribbon, the young man with the belted gilt. Obviously, you study her. She just wanted to fight on him and just throws out the entirety and the smoothness of what I'm looking for in a showman. And nothing against him per se, but she's tired, she's cranky. We just got to work. You get those barrows and those gilts built up with stamina so they can rock and they can roll for 30, 45 minutes at a time. I think we make that one little tweak on her. He does a good job in terms of an intense value on eye contact. She's always in front of me. We just got to make sure that she's rolling in a smooth and collective manner. And then the other shout out to the young lady with the blue barrel. You know, unfortunately, that one's just slow in terms of his overall gait and his pace. And I think you can get a slow one to do what you want. Maybe takes it that much to the next level. But problematically, I thought she wanted to get a nickel too far out and then came in behind me once or twice. But in terms of positioning herself, the eye contact, the skin and hair, thought she needed to be a shout out. The remainder of the kids, hey, awesome job, you guys. Presentation, spot on. We just got to work on your capability to maneuver that barrow, that gilt where you want them to go. Let's give these kids a big round of applause as they roll on out. We kept one young lady back in this particular heat and kind of talked with her as she was heading on back to the pin and complimented her. And to this point, in my mind, in my memory, is she's the only one that's come out of that holding pin and done what we call at the house a little triangle. So come out the judge immediately, pivot to the side, go away. That initially, in 5 seconds, you have accomplished showing all views and all venues of that pig to the judge in a very, very minute amount of time. So hats off to her. It'll be fun to rework her later this evening with the other callbacks. You know, I thought there was a couple individuals that needed a shout out in terms of understanding the basics, but maybe just not having the capability with this particular show pig to take them to the next level. A young lady with the blue-headed barrel thought done a really good job in terms of getting that barrel in my sight and in my view plane. Just to stop and go and heads down is try to get that barrow to roll, and then let's worry about his head carriage. You know, maybe buzz off some of that hair he's got rolling on his face just to make him that much more aesthetically pleasing in a showmanship venue. But I think she needs a blue ribbon status. Young man here with the belted gilt too. Really good job in terms of always having that gilt in my sight, in my view. He's got eye contact. And with that being said, maybe too stop and go in terms of what he was doing, and just simply too redundant in terms of profile. Break those up, give me some chest shots, some rear shots, some 3/4. That being said, awesome group of kids. Let's give these seniors a big round of applause. Good job, buddy. Good job. Good job.
Coming back from class 4, Sophia Poliano. And a quick reminder, we've only got a couple more classes before we have that Pee-wee showmanship.
Great work.
So if you got Pee-wee, you want to get him in there, there's still time to get him signed up. So Pee-wee, we'll finish our last class of seniors, then we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with our Pee-wees. Entering the ring now, we have senior class 5. Iliam Bryant, Sadie Rose Davison, Matthew Green, Cruz Knopp, Sadie Matthews, Vincent Pagliaro, Caleb Stowe, and Presley Willis. First call, class 6. Class 6 to the holding pins.
Okay, all 3 of you guys, go grab a pin. Go grab a pin. Well, an extremely competitive class, and maybe in my mind, the most competitive up to this stage of the game. And I guess as you get into the older divisions, the seniors, maybe you expect the heat to come, and it definitely came. I thought right off the bat, three individuals shake me up and make their memorable marks in terms of the skin and the hair and the hide health of those show pig prospects. And then at the same time, just had the capability to maneuver all the views right off the bat. Saw the profiles, the chests, the rear views, thought they were locked in terms of an intense value. And I know we've got a large amount coming back for the seniors, but my mentality is if you're deserving of a chance to win, I'm going to grab you because you never know what can happen later this evening. I think the ring's big enough, and even if we get 15, 20 of them, we'll be fine in terms of size-wise. But I just wanted to share that. I'm not creating a monster in terms of numbers, but I think truthfully the value of the showman, the capability of the showman, and the consistency of them dictates, hey, I need to keep 2, 3, maybe even 4 from some time to time. With that being said, there's 3 kids out here that I think are super close in terms of getting that call back. Young man directly in front of me, he truthfully is always in front of me. The problem I saw arise versus the other 3 is, again, it was just a redundant profile. We got to break it up. Again, I keep saying it. There's plenty of open space. There's plenty of holes. Get that rear view. Get that chest shot, that 3/4. Set yourself out because everybody can go back and forth. We got to find the open areas, and we got to take that time and that moment to, again, grab my attention. I think same thing holds true with the young man's fun marked gelt. Again, very, very calm, if you will, in terms of the pace that gelt brings forth. And I think he handles it all right. You know, the other thing that maybe I'd love to tweak on him, just my opinion, is just too stiff and rigid in terms of what he's doing with his freehand. Hey, loosen up. Just become more natural in terms of your pace and your gait. And I think that's more appealing to me in a showmanship venue. And then the gal with the thin belted or half belted barrel, thought did a really good job in terms of positioning the show pig in front of me. We just got to work on that much more control, that much more eye contact, and shake up the views that we're given from time to time. But awesome set. Let's give these seniors a huge round of applause. Good job, buddy. Again, a ton of quality in this particular class, and my option was to keep one individual to roll him back this evening. And again, there actually was a handful of kids that took the suggestions or maybe already practiced that, but came out immediately in a striking manner in terms of that barrel's head's tipped up, chest view is awesome, pivots to the side, goes away, circles in behind me, and continues to show. Skin and hair was second to none, but congratulations to him. We'll rework him later this evening. Quite honestly, there's a handful of kids that are so close, and I'm just going back in my mind and thinking about what we had, and it's just little tiny things. I kept catching them do one thing wrong and one thing wrong, and unfortunately, the way that I work showmanship, it truthfully is, who's the last one to make the little mistake. And they weren't big hiccups by any means, but there's definitely some individuals that need to be recognized and get a blue ribbon because they are so close. The young man here with that predominantly white barrel, I'll tell you, skin and hair, hide health, awesome. That captivates your attention right off the bat. He's got the fundamentals down, and he's one of the individuals that came out and gave me all those views on the initial inspection. Unfortunately, kept catching him trip up and running into pigs and wanted to run onto the fence line. Again, you don't got to get bunched up in the big group of pigs because it is so large of an area. Take those moments, those glimpses of the open spaces. That's when you come in and that's when you use them. But definitely wanted to chat about him. Young man with the chromed up barrel, another individual that definitely is extremely close. And I think mimicking my remarks to the individual we just talked is there was just some subtle times where he'd get gummed up and balled up. He does a really good job in terms of giving me all the views, and to get even that much more nitpicky, thought his body position was too far forward on that barrow from time to time. Love to work the stick from the back side of their tail and just reach forward. But again, another individual that's extremely close to making the next level. A young gal here with the belted barrow in the black shirt. Awesome job coming out of the gate. Thought she's just too systematic, and what I mean by that, just too rigid and too hunched over for my like and my kind. We love a more natural appearance, but at the same time, you can be intense and natural in terms of your body posture, and thought that was one thing that hindered her. And then another individual that maybe just kind of got gummed up from time to time. One more call out, one more blue would be the young lady with the cheetah colored or leopard colored, whatever wild jungle cat you want to say that looks like. Did an awesome job again in terms of eye contact, utilizing the ring, just too far from me and too close from time to time. Just got to be more consistent in our distance from judge to judge. But hey, that was a killer set of kids, an awesome individual to come back. Let's give all these kids one enormous round of applause.
Thank you so much.
He did an exceptional job, and just in terms of maneuvering all of those open spaces. I don't know if you guys catch him, and it's hard because I know as a parent, you're really typically just watching your own child. But man, if you saw what he was doing, he basically was running a maze through this. Never had a hiccup in terms of keeping that barrel moving. Found the open holes, killer in terms of skin, hair, eye contact on point. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Honestly, there's a handful of them that as the time goes on, it's just the little mistakes build up in my mind and make it more memorable, I guess, in a negative position. But definitely there's some individuals that need a shout out, need that blue ribbon deal. The young man with that blue barrel, the big-bodied one, man, just does a good job in terms of being so collected in terms of what his position is. Unfortunately, as that drive continues on, that pig wanted to get towards those holding pins and almost like quit on him. Stopped a couple times, got a little bit more headstrong in terms of what he was trying to do. But I thought skin and hair on him, and then just the basics and the fundamentals definitely needed a shout out. The young lady there with the belted barrel, I believe, in the teal colored shirt, a really good job in terms of positioning that barrel. It's just unfortunate. He's just too stop and go. Got to keep him on the gas pedal and keep him rolling, because she has the capability to take herself to the next level, just looking for a continuous movement. Other young lady there with that blue belted barrel, thought does a tremendous job in terms of bringing one that looks the part for showmanship in a show ring setting, in terms of skin, in terms of hair, in terms of his clip job. Love to see more eye contact given from the exhibitor to the judge. Thought she was eyes down more than she was eyes up. And at the same time, it's maybe not why she doesn't make the cut. That guy's a little bit headstrong, getting a little bit loud on her, and wanting to control the pace that he brings forth, rather her controlling what he's doing. But ultimately, you guys, that was an awesome class. Give all these seniors one big last round of applause.
Thank
Good
you
job.
so much.
Yep, great work. Well, it is always a treat to sort through the peewees, and honestly, you go to some of these shows and you do it, and you're kind of blown away because as an ag teacher, trying to get high school kids to understand what to do with a show whip and the proper etiquette in a show ring is challenging at times, and you come and you judge a little 6-year-old. That's better than half the kids I have in class. So the future is bright in this particular area, and I love that about these kids. But my option was to pin back 2 of them. So the young gal here in the pink with a red belted barrel, she'll come back for the runoff. And then there's already a little gal there with a big belted gilt. She'll come back as well too. You know, just in terms of generalized comments, yeah, this is the future, right? We just got done sorting through the seniors, and some of those may be done. We've got to have an influx of kids. We've got to have an influx of interest. I'm not going to pick these kids apart. They're out here having fun. I love it that you guys offer the Pee Wee division because truthfully, this is the next elevation. This is the next generation in terms of showmen. Give these kids a huge, huge round of applause.
That was an outstanding class. Coming back from class 1, we have Dylan Berger and Emma Otto.
Ladies, I believe, and again, just I'm not gonna lie, man. There's some heat in this Pee Wee deal, but ultimately, you know, it's about making it as fun and enjoyable. Because if we don't have kids fill the holes of those that leave what we love and what we adore in terms of showing hogs, that goes away. So glad there's so many of them. There's lots of smiles. There's lots of happiness. Let's give these kids a huge round of applause.
Coming back from class 2, Ava Demers and Emmy Nicholson.
Good job, buddy. Great work. Oh, good job, girl. Come back next year and do it again, okay? All right, have fun. Again, one last time for these Pee-wees. It's fun just to talk to them and hear the story and the names of the pigs and ask every single one of them, you having fun? The answer is absolutely yes. You're going to do it again? The answer is yes. So again, what you guys have established in terms of a Pee Wee show, hats off to the fair, hats off to you guys that organized this. Truly a fun experience for me to get to sort through and talk to the young people that, again, will fulfill the holes that are left by those that leave. Awesome, awesome job. Give these kids one last huge round of applause.
And coming back from Class 3, Olivia Shaleen.
For these five young ladies for making it to the final drive in Pee Wee. And honestly, it exceeds my expectations. You go from show to show, and there's quality, but I'll tell you what, all 5 of these individuals are above their age in terms of their ability to drive these barrows and drive these gilts. That being said, there's one young lady that's a flat-out savage on the stick, just in terms of her understanding of what to do to find the holds. She's locked in. She's intense in terms of eye contact. Love her body position. Never, never, never skips a beat. Young lady with a big purple bow, you'll be the champion. I think we get her out of the mix, and it becomes a little bit more challenging in terms of where you go and what you do. I thought there was a trio of young ladies that did a really good job in terms of keeping those individual show pigs in front of me. Maybe just faltered a nickel in terms of getting a little bit too far away, but you're dealing with 6, 5, 7-year-olds, I'm assuming in terms of their age range, so ultimately you got to kind of throw that stuff out. That being said, that there was one I felt was just engaged a nickel more in terms of eye contact, maybe had just a little bit better control. Young gal here with the chromed up barrel, you'll be reserved. Good job. The other individual I thought surfaced to the top 3 pretty quick. Young lady there with the belted gilt and the pink shirt. Awesome in terms of eye contact, awesome in terms of intensity. Just wanted a little bit more control as we got towards the tail end. But again, for her age and her skill level, amazing job. Round out 4 and 5. Young lady in the pink will be 4. Young lady in the white barrel will be 5. Awesome job. It was a pleasure to work through Showmanship. Excited to come back tonight and see what we got in that champion drive run-up. Thank you guys again. See you.